Hello and welcome, everybody. You guys are being a wonderful audience so far, and I hope you're ready for everything that's to come. So, before we begin this joyous ceremony, please let me remind you to silence your cell phones and to be courteous to those around you by, of course, not being too noisy during the ceremony. An official photographer will be taking photos of each of the graduates as they walk across the stage. But today's ceremony will also be streamed live to family and friends of the graduates around the world, but also via our Franklin website. During the presentation of the graduates, we of course encourage you to be loud, proud, so that we can celebrate the wonderful class of 2022. So please enjoy the ceremony.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 52nd commencement ceremony of Franklin University, Switzerland. Vorrei innanzitutto dare il mio più cordiale benvenuto agli ospiti ticinesi, agli amici e ai genitori di lingua italiana a questa nostra cerimonia di consegna dei diplomi di laurea. And the rest will be in English. No final exam for the Italian student studies here. Today is a very special moment in the life of Franklin University. It is first and foremost a day of celebration. Many of you have come a great distance to join friends and family, and our trustees have come from far and wide to join with our dedicated faculty and staff to participate in what is the most important day of the academic year. It's been 3 years since we last celebrated a graduation here in the Palazzo dei Congressi together, and yes, we are glad to be back. We are back. Two years ago, May 2020, we struggled together in the throes of a pandemic, and we did the best we could with a virtual graduation. Our staff worked hard to celebrate the class of 2020, but we know all too well now that virtual is not the same as in person. We told the graduating students of 2020 that when conditions permitted, we would honor them in person here in Lugano. It gives me great pleasure today to do so. Some of you are here with us, and I hope that many of the class of 2020 are watching. I would like the members of that class to stand up. Members of class of 2020, there we are. We're so happy that you could be here with us tonight. We're also proud of another group of alumni and wish to recognize them as well. The Golden Falcons are Franklin students who graduated 50 years or more ago. Will the Golden Falcons in the audience and on this platform please stand? Let's recognize this very special group of alumni. But most of all today, we recognize the accomplishments of our senior class and our graduate students, those of you who sit before us in this auditorium today. Each of you should be very proud of what you have accomplished and what we are about to celebrate. And we, as an institution, are justly proud of you as well. Our mission is to inspire students to engage the world, to challenge students through a curriculum that integrates the liberal arts with the professions, theory with practical experience, to produce critical thinkers who are literate, ethical, and intellectually courageous. You, the graduating class of 2022, have traversed a course that prepared you to become responsible, compassionate, and collaborative leaders in this increasingly complex world. You have met the academic challenges of the institution, and of this you should be proud. But this is also the moment to reflect that you have not done this alone. Each of you, during your stay at Franklin, has been assisted, encouraged, advised, sometimes, I'm sure, even cajoled by the faculty members here at Franklin who have been your biggest fans, watching you grow and eventually succeed. The faculty-student relationship is at the heart of the Franklin University experience. So at this point, I would like to ask all the members of the faculty to stand. They don't always do what I say, but yeah. Let's celebrate them. It's also, this is not in the script, but I think you should also maybe consider that the other people who have helped you through the last 4 years are your family and friends, and they're here with you today. So why don't we celebrate them as well? Let's applaud them. I would also like to introduce our trustees, whose dedication to Franklin is unmatched. You'll be hearing from some of them in a few minutes. Would the following trustees stand and remain standing as I call your names? Laurent Belay. Even though they all deserve individual applause, hold your applause until the end here, and we'll get, yeah. Okay, Laurent, thank you. Jennifer Berg. Emily Boynton. Ryan Ellis. Lucid Doolittle. Luke Fowler. Kim Hildebrandt. Paul Laware. Kevin McNeely. Wow, okay. I don't know what that's about. Okay, but congratulations, Kevin. Yes. Fulvio Pelli. Christopher Schultz. Pascal Tone. And Cabell West. Thank you. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce Franklin University's Chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Kim Hildebrandt.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorary degree recipients, parents, family, friends, and last but not least, fellow alums, good afternoon. Ai nostri illustri ospiti della lingua italiana, con immenso piacere che vi do il più cordiale benvenuto alla nostra cerimonia di laurea, la prima cerimonia in presenza dopo una lunga e sofferta assenza di 2 anni. Dear graduating class of 2022, it is with immense pleasure that on behalf of all of my esteemed colleagues on the Board of Trustees, I welcome you warmly to today's commencement ceremony. Today is your day, but as mentioned by President Warden, it is also a special day for your fellow graduates of the class of 2020. It is therefore a great pleasure that I also welcome the graduates of 2020. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me and my fellow trustees to share this very special day with you and your families. Today is a day of joy and celebration, and it is a day which you have without any doubt long anticipated. In a short while, a new part of your life commences, and I can assure you, your whole family, whole Franklin family, are so very proud of you. Looking out over the remarkable audience present at today's commencement ceremony, it is very clear that we are not the only ones who are proud of you. The love and pride beaming from the eyes of your parents, family members, friends and loved ones is impossible not to notice. As a parent to a wonderful son and daughter, I can personally confirm that it feels like you've all suddenly grown up in the blink of an eye and have consequently taught us that time is indeed precious. Hopefully, you are all as proud as I am of having graduated from this great university, as I know I certainly will never forget how it contributed in shaping my life and career. I would like to commend you for reaching the great milestone of graduation. After today, you'll become citizens of the world, and I hope you take with you everything that you've learned whilst at Franklin and transform it into the tools necessary to become exemplary leaders in this very challenging world. Remember, it is your choice of values and character that will decide your future, and I therefore hope that you'll continue to follow your dreams, no matter how difficult the journey may appear. Never underestimate what you can achieve. Believe in yourself. Be diverse, and new opportunities will arise within your reach. But do it with passion, dedication, and purpose, as balance is not only a key factor in your professional calling, but also in your personal life. Finally, remember that the past does not predict the future. It prepares you for it. Your well-earned academic achievements would not be possible if it was not for the very special individuals present on the platform today. Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to join me in recognizing President Greg Wharton and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Andrew Starcher, and the remarkable faculty of Franklin University, Switzerland, for the true devotion with which they transmit academic learning to our students. They might not be known to you all, nor are they present on campus as much as I know they would like to be. But I can assure you of their dedication and tireless work to implement, advise, and guide the administration in moving Franklin forward. Please join me in acknowledging my distinguished colleagues on the Board of Trustees. Last but not least, today's commencement ceremony will unfortunately be the last one presided by President Wharton, as he retires next month after 10 successful years at Franklin and is moving on to a new and interesting chapter in his life. Please join me once again in acknowledging the university's sincere gratitude to President Wharton and Dr. Diane Wharton for their truly dedicated service to Franklin. In concluding, all that now remains for me to say is, congratulations, dear graduates. Go make us proud.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. So I just come up here to ask you, Ruth? Yes. Okay. Chairman Hildebrandt, would you please present the Ursula Gentile Loehr Outstanding Service Award?
We practiced that a lot. The Ursula Gentile Loehr Outstanding Service Award was established in 2006 by the Franklin University Switzerland Board of Trustees to recognize outstanding members of our alumni community for exemplary service to Franklin University and for the enthusiastic leadership and support of its mission and goals. The award reflects the honor and credit that recipients bring to the university through their actions and contributions. Past award recipients include Claudia Figueredo, John Steinbreder, Jim Moore, Sally Dodge, Sheikh Hussein Al-Banawi, Ned Lynch, Meg Salyer, India Howell, Renee Music, and Emily Boynton. This year's Ursula Gentile Loehr Alumni Award recipient is Majda Dakak. Majda has been an avid volunteer and supporter of Franklin as a student and as an alumna. She graduated in 2015 with a double major in communications, media studies, comparative literary and cultural studies, and a minor in management. While at Franklin, Majda was very involved on campus as an academic mentor, coordinated a new leadership program for students, presented at Franklin's Women's Conference, served as president of the Arab Club, participated in the Tucker Family Fellows Internship Program, and more. She received the Presidential Leadership Award and Outstanding Freshman of the Year Award. As an alumna, Majda serves as chair of the Franklin Club of Jordan, planning regional events and connecting alumni in her area to Franklin. She volunteers as an alumni admissions ambassador, speaking to prospective Franklin students, and advises students and young alumni about career-related topics with the Office of Career Strategies virtual events. She loves Franklin and is always looking for ways that she can give back. After graduating from Franklin, Majda worked at the Association of Queen Rania Award for Excellence in Education as a media and communications officer. In 2018, she joined her family's business as the Director of Business Development and Communications at Dhaka Group, Dhaka Tours International. She also holds a master's degree in innovation in education.
Thank you. I cannot begin to express how much this award means to me. Thank you. I'd like to start by saying how special today is to me. It's special because I'm finally back here, but also because on this day, 3 years ago, our daughter Ayla was born, changing me and changing our lives forever. And I couldn't have asked for a better city to celebrate her birthday in. We are gathered here today to honor the past, celebrate the present, and start the beautiful future of the graduating class of 2022. Congratulations on this incredible achievement. 11 years ago, I came to Franklin not knowing what to expect out of my university experience. But as time passed, I realized that Franklin was not just a university, it was a home. Every single room and every single corner holds a memory and a story. Stories that reflect on the bonds created, the friendships made, the accomplishments, the happy moments, and the tears. Stories reflecting on the unbreakable and the unforgettable. Stories I cherish in my heart until this day, and always know they are an imperative part of me. I'm not going to stand here and talk about my life post-graduation, but what I will share with you is how a small American university in Italian-speaking Switzerland helped shape the person I am today and the person I want to become. What Franklin taught me goes beyond what I expected out of a university experience. By attending Franklin, you somehow get exposed to a world beyond the classroom, beyond the textbooks, and beyond the mundane conversation you would have on a daily basis anywhere else. Franklin taught me that life is not a given. You have to go out there and earn what you really want for yourself. But it also taught me that in order to earn your place in the world, you have to have a heart full of acceptance, responsibility, and compassion. Because at the essence of everything you do here and everything you learn is really being human and envisioning what humanity really means. Whether you're attending an 8:30 a.m. Italian class, doing research for a communication assignment, traveling with SSB as a freshman, or spending your day at the grotto, you are constantly challenged to step away from your own shoes to see the world through different lenses that help widen your perspective. Franklin also taught me that the only real challenge you will ever face in life are the obstacles we create in our minds, then build as tall walls in front of us, standing between us and our dreams. But in order to reach those dreams, you have to work smart before working hard. You also learn that you are your own ripple effect, and that learning how to lead your own self and own life comes before anything you want to accomplish. By attending Franklin, you learn that friendship knows no difference. In fact, those differences add beauty to the relationships you build. I stand here today and I see myself 7 years ago sitting among my graduating friends and wondering, how can I ever say goodbye to this place? 7 years later, I'm humbled to be receiving this award and standing on the other side. And in a way, it makes me remember something my late grandfather once said. He said, in order to be successful in life, you have to be a good person and be loyal. From the day I left Franklin and until this day, I never really said goodbye. There is some magical pull about this place that keeps you in and somehow increases as the time passes. I stayed in touch, stayed involved, and created plans on how my passions in life can also be reflected on the place that helped shape the person I am today and the goals that I want to achieve. I also married a Franklin graduate, and my brothers are currently in Franklin. So if this isn't loyalty, I don't know what is. When I first reached Lugano with my parents, I couldn't believe that this little piece of heaven was going to be my home for the next 4 years. I was scared, nervous, excited, and a whole lot of emotions all at once. But I will never forget what my parents said to me the moment we stepped out of the train. They said, "This is your place." It seemed too good to be true, but I couldn't have said it any better. Today, I'm back home. I cannot say I am where I want to be just yet, but I'd like to think I'm still young, with a lot to learn and a lot to accomplish. Thank you for this award. Thank you for being a main driving force in my life and for helping me create dreams and passions I never thought I would have if it wasn't for this enchanting place. Thank you.
It is now my honor to present the University Awards and other recognitions. The title of Professor Emeritus is conferred by the Board of Trustees, acting on the recommendation of the President, the Vice President, and Dean of Academic Affairs, and the faculty. The title of Professor Emeritus is an honorary recognition conferred upon retirement to members of the faculty whose contribution to the life and mission of the university has been significant due to their record of teaching, research, and community service. I'm extremely pleased to recognize two faculty members today, one who is with us and one who could not be with us. And the one who is with us will have to suffer the consequences. Morris Motale, would you come to the podium, please? Morris Motale, Professor of International Relations and Political Science, has been at Franklin since 1986. His main teaching and research interests are in international relations, comparative politics, Middle Eastern politics, international political economy, strategic studies, energy, and mass communication. Wow. He has taught in the United States, Canada, and England, and has been a research scholar at universities in North America, Europe, and the Middle East, including the Harvard Center for Middle Eastern Studies. His numerous publications concern international and Middle Eastern politics. As emeritus professor, he will continue his research activities in these and other fields. Let's all congratulate Professor Motale.
Thank you.
George Racour could not be with us today, but I do want to celebrate him. George Racour, executive in residence, first joined Franklin in 2003, bringing private sector expertise in financial theory, multinational corporate financial strategy, and corporate exchange rate hedging, among other areas of interest. He has taught at Barry University, Towson University, Loyola College of Baltimore, the Maryland Banker School. He will continue to serve Assistant Program Director, Programma Forum Nexus, and as president of GRE Services Incorporated, an economics and capital markets consulting firm. I wish to offer my congratulations, along with all of you, to Professor Racour. Today we're doing something new. We're awarding the Founders Distinguished Teaching Professorship. It is awarded by the trustees on recommendation of the President to those individuals who embody the highest ideals of the professoriate. That is, dedicated teaching that is informed by research and outreach, thus also embodying the ideals of the Franklin founders, those innovative and courageous individuals who founded this institution 52 years ago. This year there will be two awards, one to a full-time and one to a part-time member of the faculty. These have been so secret that actually I have brought them in. They're not even in the script here. So I feel as if we should open the envelope and move forward. So I would like for Professor Johanna Fassel to join me at the podium. Yes. It is a total surprise.
It's a total surprise.
A total surprise. Johanna Fassel is Professor of Art History and Visual Communication and the co-chair of the Division of Arts and Cultures. She is an expert on Venetian art of the 18th century, and her recent research has centered on contemporary trauma studies, where she has examined the work of artists who have experienced trauma in the ongoing conflict zones of the Middle East. In 2016, along with Professor Caroline Wiedmer, she co-founded the Scholarships Without Borders program that grants fully funded scholarships to refugee students at Franklin. She is an active member of the Franklin community in myriad ways, a thoughtful and committed university citizen whose courses, and especially her academic travel courses, are highly regarded by our students. She is a role model to all of us, an eminent scholar who brings her expertise and her passions into the classroom and whose teaching breaks down the boundaries of the classroom walls. It gives me great pleasure to offer you, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Founders Distinguished Teaching Professorship. Don't go away, stay right there. You deserve this. You deserve this so much.
Thank you so much. Do I have to say something?
You can say thank you, whatever you want. Yeah.
So I'm completely unprepared for this, of course, and I hate being unprepared, but I'm going to say a couple of words anyway, so thank you very much. You know, obviously, I could not do this without you, being the students, and you enrich the classroom every day. You make me think, you make me happy, and thank you very much. And also thank you to my fellow faculty who always keep me on my toes as well, and also the administration and the Board of Trustees, and now I'm going to shut up. Thank you.
I'll just say that the choice for these professorships is not easy, and the trustees hope to offer these in the future as well, because there are so many other wonderful, deserving and dedicated faculty here at Franklin. Now, just to continue embarrassing people, I'd like Professor Crisanta Marin to come to the podium. All you have to do is stand here.
Do I have to stand here?
No, yes, you have to stand here. Yeah, absolutely. Crisanta Marin is adjunct professor of music history. She is an author of numerous books and essays, articles, and newspaper and music reviews. Her area of specialization includes the research and transcription in modern notation of Byzantine and post-Byzantine musical manuscripts, determination of their origins, and their dating. Since 2011, she has been associated with the Cantus Mundi National Program for Children in Romania. She currently trains the instructors for this educational project based on music as a means to promote social integration. At Franklin, she has proven to be a passionate teacher who has literally brought music into the lives of our students and into the life of our campus. My office is not far from her classroom, so I know the music has come onto our campus. She is a teacher of great generosity who, despite teaching part-time, brings a full-time commitment to our community. She connects our students to the world of music, taking them to performances and behind-the-scenes events at the Lugano Arts Center and even to the legendary stage of La Scala in Milan. Crisanta Marin, it gives me great pleasure, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, to award you the Founders Distinguished Teaching Professorship.
Thank you very much. It's a big surprise. It's overwhelming, of course, and I didn't expect it, and I'm extremely happy, and I'd like to thank all people in Franklin, the leadership, my colleagues, faculty, and staff, and above all, my students, because I teach and I share what I know, and I have this privilege to share my knowledge. So I have to say I love Franklin, I love music, I love teaching. Thank you.
We'll now proceed to the student awards. The Presidential Leadership Award is awarded to Jonathan Bystrowski. Jonathan, where are you? There you are. Now you get to stand here while I embarrass you, so this is fun, yes. This award recognizes Jonathan's strong extracurricular contributions and involvement in the life of Franklin. The early days of the pandemic were difficult times, and Jonathan handled them with finesse. As the president of the SGA, the Student Government Association, Jonathan shaped the feedback channels to strengthen and ensure that student voices were heard and feedback loops improved. Jonathan impressed us with his ability to work professionally with the staff, faculty, and administrators. His leadership roles have centered on developing school spirit and a thoughtful approach to building community. Jonathan has been a humble, thoughtful student leader, and between his leadership positions with SGA, the basketball team, why did I know we'd get that? Yes. And academic affairs, a little applause for academic affairs, right? Yeah, okay. He has a profound impact on our community. Congratulations, Jonathan.
I would just like to say my last statement as SGA president, let's go Falcons.
The Academic Excellence Award is awarded to Julia Castiglioni. Come over here. You can hold this.
Thank you, thank you.
And as an extremely dedicated and accomplished student, Julia Castiglioni has shown strong intellectual curiosity in her courses. Her contributions and efforts as a French and math tutor are appreciated by her peers. Her combination of an international management major and psychology minor further demonstrates her genuine interest in interdisciplinary learning and our liberal arts environment. Congratulations, Julia.
Just wanted to thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Say something. Yes.
I didn't prepare a speech, but I would like to thank all of the faculty members who first nominated me and then voted for me. Thank you to all of my friends and fellow graduates. I'm very proud of all of us. And thank you to my family for being here. This is for them.
The Goethe Holman Award is awarded to Kai Sales. Stand over here while I embarrass you too. Here's your award. The Goethe Holman Award is named in honor of a former Franklin professor whose love of learning and inspirational teaching transcended the classroom. This award recognizes Kai's tireless advocacy for transgender students and her efforts to serve as an educator to support the LGBTQ community. Kai's advocacy has been instrumental in helping our community gain awareness, and her work has helped shape the conversation for years to come. Congratulations, Kai.
Can I just give a big shout out to Russell Martin? Because without him, none of this would have been possible. Nothing would have happened without his tireless energy and commitment to Franklin. And go see the big flag on the flagpole when you get a chance. Thank you.
And that, thank you, Kai. That was a great segue to my next unscripted moment here. and that is the trustees yesterday at their meeting decided that they wanted to honor the staff here as well. The staff, I mean, they're everywhere. They make things happen. You don't see them. They're absolutely wonderful. They're the glue that binds us all together. And so we're now going to have, from the trustees, an Outstanding Staff Award, which will be a yearly award. And this year, now I'm really going to embarrass somebody, it is going to go to Frances Atkinson. Frances, where are you? Frances, you can't escape us. Take your time on the stairs, please. Please, please. Yeah. Just stand over here. Yeah, you don't have to say anything. Now, it's a little bit embarrassing because I don't have a certificate to give her because, guess who makes the certificates? So she's always doing everything here, and I couldn't ask her to produce a so we'll do that next week. But anyway, yes. Yeah, so something else for you to do next week, yes. But anyway, Frances, thank you so much for all you do for the trustees. You've been exceptional this year. You've helped with the presidential search. I know that was just a lot of work for everyone, and especially for you. You work so hard for the Board of Trustees that you barely have time for me sometimes. But no, Frances is the person who just gets it done, and she is like so many other people at Franklin, always there. So by recognizing her, I just want to say we're also recognize the rest of the faculty, all the staff here, and we'll recognize many others in the years to come. So thank you, Frances. Now the fun continues. We are pleased this year to offer an honorary degree that is the degree honoris causa to 5 individuals whose accomplishments have been significant and enduring. These individuals have been recommended to the faculty, endorsed by the faculty, and approved by the trustees of the university. By allowing us to honor them, they honor us. And I just want to say something personal here, and that is, since this is my last graduation, I'm extremely honored to have this particular set of honorary degree recipients because they really stand for what Franklin is about our mission, and they are role models to all of us. This year, we will begin by offering an extraordinary honorary degree award, a posthumous award to one of our founders. Trustee Tone, would you please come to the podium?
I first met Jean-Jacques Villeray in September of 1969, when at the age of 26, a little bit older than you guys are right now, I arrived in Lugano to teach at Fleming College. Jacques and I immediately hit it off because of our mutual love of cinematography, filmmaking, and the great outdoors. 16 years my senior, Jacques soon became my mentor. His lovely Norwegian wife, Vibeke, and their daughters, Marianne and Christine, became like family to me and my family. In December 1969, I joined Jacques, Theo Brenner, Will Gaines, and Pietro Cassina as founders of Franklin College, Switzerland. A Fulbright scholar, Jacques taught French civilization, and filmmaking at Franklin for 28 years. Upon his retirement from teaching, he served as Franklin's photo archivist for another 12 years. Jacques was born in Burgundy and grew up in Paris, and extraordinarily lived through the German occupation in World War II. He later moved to England to learn English, followed by the United States to study the implications of experimental audio-visual tools as teaching aids. He returned to Europe for the application of those principles, settling in Lugano for the remainder of his life. During his teaching career, Professor Villeray led many academic travels, mostly to France. He was a demanding teacher who organized unforgettable trips to places such as Cannes for film, Ile Saint-Marguerite for archaeology, history and ecology, Antibes for Picasso, Grasse for perfume, Châteauneuf-du-Pape for the history of wine, Avignon for religion, and frequently the beach at Pampelonne. Jacques was the quintessential Frenchman and will be remembered for his passion, his love of family and of life, and for his fundamental contribution to Franklin University, Switzerland for 40 years.
The award will be accepted by Ludovico Danna, the grandson of Professor Jacques Villeray. Ludovico, could you please join us on the podium? On the recommendation of the faculty and on the unanimous recommendation of the Board of Trustees, Franklin University, Switzerland confers upon Professor Jacques Villeray the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters in memoriam et honoris causa.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Warden, trustees, faculty, and students, touch and honor I received this posthumous doctorate in human letter from my beloved and respected grandfather, Jean-Jacques Villeray, for his lifelong dedication to learning and teaching, and for his unhesitating support of Franklin College, now grown into Franklin University. He embodied international and cross-cultural education. His Fulbright years in the States, being a founder of Franklin, his remarkably long teaching career, the many academic trips to his dear France and throughout Europe, the numerous films and photos with which he documented all these exceptional experiences. Indeed, a very interesting learning, also for us in the family. He always remained a real educator for us as well, for which we are thankful. On behalf of my grandfather and the whole family, I thank the faculty and the trustees for bestowing this great honor on Jean-Jacques Villeray. Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to ask Ambassador Pio Venobst to join us at the podium. Here he is, and he's been here before, but he was here virtually in 2020, and you actually presented the commencement address to us, for which I thank you. And I promised him then that we would honor him properly in person. So along with our 2020 grads, we're going to celebrate him. Ambassador Pio Venobst is the permanent representative of Switzerland to the United Nations organizations in Rome. He is an agroeconomist specializing in systemic approaches and worked in development diplomacy based on extensive fieldwork in rural development, microfinance, and public health. After a period as managing director of a Swiss chemical company, Ambassador Venobst moved to the public sector again as an academic researcher. In 1992, he began working in the field of development cooperation for the UN in Nepal. He joined the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, SDC, in 1995, and was initially posted to Bolivia and subsequently to Madagascar, where he was tasked with reorganizing Swiss development cooperation activities. After a period as an economist at the SDC's head office in Bern, in 2004, Ambassador Venobst was appointed SDC country director in Dar es Salaam, From 2008 to 2011, he was Deputy Permanent Representative to the Swiss mission to the Rome-based UN agencies. From 2010, he was also in charge of the SDC's Global Program for Food Security. He later joined the Swiss Permanent Mission to the UN in New York as head of the Economic and Social Development Team. That's exhausting right there, all those, yeah, wow, just wow. Ambassador Venabst has been an active communicator of the values that are fundamental to the mission of Franklin University. He has lectured widely, including for TEDx, and he gave a memorable convocation to Franklin a few years ago. He has, and then a memorable graduation address a couple of years later. He has also been an active supporter of the Blue Peace, Invest in Peace Through Water movement, and has been actively involved in Franklin's Master of Science in International Management. He is really a true friend of Franklin University. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto. And we're actually going to hood you now, in person, not virtually. So, yeah. So please. Face the other way. Yeah. You all notice how this is done so we can all practice, yes. Yep. Yeah. It's particularly a challenge with tall people. Yes.
Can I say 2 words?
You can say as many words. Due parole.
Sì, 2 parole solamente because I already had that speech. But just I wanted to say to dear Greg, Diane, Kim, Nikki, thank you for your friendship and your trust. Dear trustees and the faculty members, I would say that with students like these, rest assured, the future Franklin University is there and will be there, because these are the best students I've seen in many decades, I would say. Dear parents and relatives and friends of the degrees recipients, I also would like to say, rest assured you too, because your future is going to be assured by them, because they are really brilliant. Now, my maybe last word are to you, dear degrees recipients, simply saying that, okay, the future is yours, and the future is now. So thank you for having me here, and see you maybe later for a couple of chat.
We'll see each other after, yes.
Thanks.
Marcus Imhoff, would you please join us at the podium? And I will ask Professor Faso to read the Laudatio.
Okay, now I'm better prepared. I don't need to introduce myself anymore, so I scrapped the first paragraph of my introduction and just go right into it and say it's an enormous pleasure for me to introduce to you Marcus Imhoff as our honorary degree recipient this afternoon. Known as the rebel poet and as an uncomfortable filmmaker, Marcus Imhoff's documentary and fictional work puts a mirror not only to Switzerland's face, but to the world at large. He exposes society's flaws in stories that are rooted in family history and personal experiences. And that is what makes his film so thought-provoking and emotionally moving at the same time. With seeming facility, he explores topics of global relevance, and he guides his public slowly by starting a narrative from small and then expanding it gradually to put his prickly finger on the nerves of society's global problems. What strikes me the most are the open semantics in his visual narration. Stories seem to be on a linear trajectory, but they're never spelled out for you completely.
You need to work and look deep inside yourself to generate the ultimate meaning. Marcus Imhof's work is highly relevant to our community and to Franklin's mission. We too value discomfort and strive to make the world aware of its inherent complacencies and gratuitous contentments. More specifically, Imhof's films intensely engage with issues of migration, cultural and social sustainability, and with the ecological environment. They highlight man's complex relations with humankind, with our flora and fauna on Earth, and convey that nothing should ever be taken for granted on our planet. Imhof begins his career as a documentary filmmaker and then also shoots biopics, fiction that is based on real characters and actual events. His 1968 film Rondo takes a critical look at the prison system in Switzerland, and it was banned immediately until 1975. In 1980, he shoots Das Boot ist voll, The Boat is Full, which receives wide international acclaim for showing the downside of Switzerland's neutral politics during World War II. It depicts a group of Jewish refugees who in 1942 are being forced to return to Nazi Germany on the order of Swiss government laws. Recently, in 2018, his film El Dorado, he turns to migration again. This time the location is in the Mediterranean, in a story that is also informed by his personal family history. Both of these films are extremely relevant, but today, right at this moment, when we are deeply concerned about an armed conflict on European soil, they are more important than ever. In his 2012 film, More Than Honey, he studies the honeybee colonies in Switzerland, Austria, California, and in China. The then president of the Swiss Confederation, Simonetta Sommaruga, opened the 2020 World Economic Forum in Davos with excerpts from More Than Honey. It addresses the core question of man's crucial relationship to nature by documenting the worldwide dying of bees and what effect this will have in the long run on international food production and the global economy. The film received over 25 international awards, and the list is far too long to relate, so I'm just going to mention a few. The film received the Swiss Film Award for Best Documentary, the German Film Award Lola for Best Documentary, the Austrian Romy Film Award for Best Director, Best Documentary at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and the Bouffon at Paris Sciences. Dear Marcus, thank you for your patience. In this illustrious company of festivals and awards, we are humbled and honored at the same time to have you with us here on stage. As one of Switzerland's most acclaimed critical voices, it is a privilege for us to bestow upon you the Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Marcus Imhof.
Thank you. So I'm actually going to make it official now and say, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Vice President Starcher, would you perform the ceremonies? Thank you very much. Very welcome. Congratulations. It's an honor to have you with us. Thank you.
I have first to digest what they said. During World War II, my family took in an Italian refugee girl, Giovanna. She called herself Io, and I learned this means I in Italian. This discovery confused me a lot. So everybody else called themselves I. But that's me. I am I. How come that suddenly everyone else is I too? Joanna was I. This discovery became my first love story. Love and empathy are the key of my work as a screenwriter and film director. They offer the chance to empathize with other eyes. Otherwise, how could I know what they do and say? I even have to understand the fears and the feelings of the antagonists, the bad guys. That doesn't just apply to me. Empathy is the basis for human coexistence in general. But which of the many eyes belong to the we? Who is allowed to eat our daily bread? My family, our city, our country, our skin color? Is there a hierarchy in empathy, a ranking of selves? Who is allowed on the lifeboat in case of danger? During the war, Switzerland said, the boat is full. We only save ourselves. Only Swiss people have space in the lifeboat. My Italian childhood love, Joanna, was sent back. She died as a child because she hadn't a Swiss eye. The law of the strongest cannot be the solution. If we defend our values with cruelty, we already have lost them. We can only survive in respectful interplay with all the other egos. Nobody is the center. 500 years ago, the philosopher Niklaus von Kues said, the center of the universe is everywhere. What wonderful openness. The fascinating thing about my job is, with every new topic, I can start a new study every 5 or 8 years. My father was very worried because after completing my university studies, I didn't finish to write my dissertation and became a film director instead of a doctor and professor like him. That's why I'm so humbled and honored at the honorable gift that Franklin University is offering me today and posthumously to my father. Even with my artistic playing around, I have finally reached this goal. My heartfelt thanks to the Franklin University for this rescue.
Nikhil Seth, please join us at the podium. I will ask Dean Branko Sain to read the Laudatio.
Dear graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply humbled and honored to present Mr. Nikhil Seth for the next award. Our mission talks about creating an environment that inspires students to engage the world. Today, I wish to recognize someone who is deeply engaged in changing the world with a lot of courage. As a young graduate with a strong interest in economic development of communities, Nikhil Seth served as lecturer of economics at St. Stephen College, New Delhi, Delhi University, India. After a couple of years, in 1980, he joined the diplomatic service of his country. He traveled to assignments to Geneva, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea, covering roles of increasing responsibility. With an excellent track record of success, he joined the UN headquarters in New York, where he lived through his proudest moment by leading the development of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, as a director of the Division for Sustainable Development in the Department of Economic and Social Affairs at the United Nations Secretariat. Widely recognized as an accomplished diplomat and an inspiring frontrunner, he saw the UN Assembly adopting the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as the pillars of the Global Development Agenda 2030 and the Decade of Action. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating the United Nations Assistant Secretary General and Executive Director of UNITAR, Mr. Nicky Seth. Thank you so much.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Thank you so much. No, it's our honor. Thank you so much. Given the importance of the role of sustainable development in the mission of Franklin University, Switzerland, we have asked Mr. Seth to address us on the topic of global citizenship to realize the Sustainable Development Goals.
A very good afternoon to all of you, students, faculty, administrators, parents. This is a proud moment for all of us. Thank you, President Greg Warden, Chairman Kim Hildebrandt, and all the trustees for inviting me to Franklin University, Switzerland and Lugano and conferring this honor on me. Lugano is a spectacular location, as you all know, and picturesque and at the crossroads with Italy. With the presence of these 60 students from 60 countries, actually, it makes this university truly international. It is a place clearly to forge solidarity and promote global citizenship, and also promote some marriages, which I just heard. I head the UN's training organization, and every year we train over 370,000, largely public servants and other partners all over the world. We have a partnership with Franklin University in your innovative master's program in responsible management and climate action, and I know that many of today's graduates are also from this program. As part of our work in the organization I head, we hope to change attitudes and behaviors, and that's one of the most difficult things, especially for adults. My message to all of you is that learning and change is the only constant in our lives. Those who adapt will prosper, and those who want to survive only in the status quo will suffer. So keep your minds open and be ready for lifelong learning and lifelong awareness of technology, which is moving ahead at an exponential pace. I wanted to talk, as the President mentioned, on good global citizenship. a concept which has its roots in the UN Charter and which has its strongest manifestation in the Sustainable Development Goals, which were adopted in 2015. Let me start by reflecting on my own 3 decades in the United Nations. I was part of the summits and conferences of the 90s to the SDG Summit in 2015. I had a ringside seat in many of these conferences and summits and was in the driver's seat in some. As a younger multilateral diplomat in 1990s, they were a heady decade. The Cold War had ended and there was promise of a peace dividend. Heads of state and government, kings and queens were engaging in the United Nations as never before. Civil society, business, academia, and the media were engaging in multilateralism. There was hope that poverty, discrimination, and inequality would become history. The UN was clearly seeing its most glorious years. Currently, the situation is very dire. We are all focusing our attention on the terrible situation that the people of Ukraine are facing. It's not only in Ukraine, but the repercussions of what's happening in Ukraine is being felt far away, especially on the most poor and most vulnerable people in the world. An uncertain financial environment, hunger stalking large parts of this world, and starvation. The deaths that are taking place are actually more in the rest of the world than what we hear every day in the news. The war has led to a senseless loss of life, massive devastation in urban centers, and the destruction of civilian infrastructure. The war has displaced millions of people, and this has been the fastest forced population movement since the Second World War. For all these reasons, it is time to silence these guns. But this is not the only crisis we are facing. We are facing multiple crises. Conflicts are everywhere. Peace remains elusive. The Security Council, which is at the apex of the United Nations, remains unrepresentative, ignored, and paralyzed. As you all know, climate change impacts and images are everywhere. People fleeing homes because of wildfires, the breaking of new records in temperatures, heat waves, storms, typhoons, the state of our oceans, plastic pollution, and overfishing is alarming. Species loss is staggering, and living in harmony with nature is imperative. For a fair globalization, we need to urgently advance the Sustainable Development Goals. We need more equal and inclusive societies with a special focus on women and girls and the most vulnerable people. And we need to stop misinformation, strengthen media freedoms, and the rights and the human rights of people, especially the right to assemble and to air their views. These are some of the facets of the difficult world we live in. And the question on many people's mind is, how do we restore cooperation and multilateralism to where it belongs? Of course, we need to start by redefining multilateralism, the role of the United Nations and the role of citizens. Multilateralism is changing. The young are leading this change. Enlightened business and industry is leading this change. Mayors and cities are at the forefront. Academia, scientists, and researchers are coming out with some practical solutions to many of these very serious problems that I mentioned. We need to co-opt those who are committed to action and promote good citizenship. We need to provide space to encourage action and innovation. We need to give recognition to the people who are creating change and make everyone part of this change. Ladies and gentlemen, dear graduates, peace is based on fundamental principles: democracy, equality, freedom of thought, speech and religion, and respect for human rights and human dignity. The absence of peace incubates a petri dish of hate, inequality, and injustice. Much of the United Nations energy is devoted to preventing conflict by supporting sustainable development and promoting human rights. As President Warden mentioned, my proudest moment in the UN was when I helped develop the Sustainable Development Goals and bring consensus in a very diverse room, and to bring in September of 2015 170 presidents and prime ministers to New York to sign on to this 2030 development agenda, which still is the best promise for a sustainable world. It's based on 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and it is the best effort to create the conditions for peace over the next years. We must first achieve ending wars and destruction, as well as ending poverty in all its forms everywhere. We must locate and take special action for the poorest and the most vulnerable. Dear graduates, dear participants, these young graduates today are the leaders our world so desperately needs. We need to embrace green and sustainable development and consumption and build societies on the principles of social justice and cooperation. The UN is totally committed to working with you to safeguard your future. Young people and all of you are and will be a source of innovation, ideas, and solutions. We used to think earlier in the United Nations that we need to work for young people, but now we are working with you. We hope you young people will join us in working for a safer, most peaceful, and prosperous world. There are many ways to contribute, and this is what I mean by good global citizenship. Whether you are going to work for the private sector, a think tank, a non-profit, the government, academia, or the multilateral organization like the United Nations, I hope you will, in your remit and the world that you will inhabit, make the world a little better. Social media today offers opportunities to reach across borders and to join our efforts through campaigns and online communities. In our connected world, the United Nations is a virtual town hall, a safe space where we can look for solutions and reach a better understanding of each other. But often, people retreat into their safe zones rather than reaching out to others. Too often, people dehumanize their enemies when they could be building bridges. Finding solutions to the global challenges we face requires us to find common ground. That means looking for similarities, not differences. It means looking for solutions, not only focusing on problems. As you leave the wonderful gates of this university, I hope you will think of this as the first day in the rest of your lives. Keep thinking of these basic questions. What is my role? What am I going to achieve? How will I contribute to this safer, more sustainable world? And what kind of world awaits me in the future? In closing, let me end with a last reflection. As you move through life, never give up your curiosity or your zeal for learning. Learning is a lifelong thing. Our lives put us into comfort zones and bubbles very often, but our world is interconnected. Engineering, sociology, economics, natural sciences, physical sciences are all connected. Artificial intelligence and robotics are revolutionizing everything. And you need to know about all these things to be able to contribute better in whatever your specialization is or your particular discipline is. Till you keep your curiosity going and pursue lifelong learning, you will miss the very big picture. Never let your sense of wonderment and curiosity ever go away. I thank you.
Thank you for those very important words. I would ask Penelope Andrews to please join us at the podium. And it's my honor this time to read the Laudatio. Penelope Andrews is professor of law at New York Law School, NYLS, where she teaches constitutional law, comparative law, torts, and legal ethics. She also serves as director of NYLS's Racial Justice Project and host of the South Africa Reading Group. Professor Andrews has held tenured faculty positions at La Trobe University in Australia, the City University of New York, and Valparaiso University. She has also held visiting appointments at law schools across the United States, Canada, and internationally. Professor Andrews has held senior positions in law, including as the Dean at the University of Cape Town, Faculty School of Law, President and Dean, Albany Law School, New York, and Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, City University of New York Law School. In 2021, she completed a 2-year term as President of the Law and Society Association. She has also served as an acting judge of the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, I hope I pronounced that somewhat right, and as arbitrator in hearings on racial discrimination in South Africa. Professor Andrews is an editor of the International Journal of Law in Context, the Human Rights and the Global Economy e-Journal, and the African Law e-Journal. She has also published several books and articles that focus on comparative constitutional law, gender and racial equality, human rights, the judiciary, and legal education. She is currently at work on a book on Me Too entitled Law, Politics, and the Me Too Movement. Professor Andrews has served on law school committees and on the boards of public interest and human rights organizations, including the Africa section of Human Rights Watch, South Africa Partners, and the National Center for Law and Economic Justice. She currently serves as chair of the board of the Institute for African Women in Law and is a board member of the Kemper Human Rights Education Foundation and Shared Interest. Professor Andrews has received many awards, as you can see, and many of them for her global human rights advocacy. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Yes, I'm going to just mention that right away, yeah.
Yes,
So we can actually put that on over, yeah, you can put that over here if you want. Professor Andrews will now present the commencement address.
Good afternoon, and thank you, President Borden, for bestowing this honorary degree on me. Thank you, Mr. Hildebrand, the Board of Trustees. I can't mention you all by name, but thank you. Some of your spouses, Dr. Diana Warden, faculty, staff of this great institution. I also want to congratulate all the awardees, my honorary doctorate awardees, and all of you students and staff and faculty who have received awards. So to the class of 2022, I want to start by congratulating you on what you have achieved so far. You are a talented and accomplished group of graduates, and I do want to applaud you. I also want to reassure you that when I thought about the comments for my talk today, I took the advice of one of my heroes, the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and he once commented he'd received many awards in his day, and he gave many commencement addresses. And he says the one thing that he always remembers and thinks about before he gives the address is that he wants to be merciful. And he says, when I want to be merciful, I mean brief. So that's what I will do. I'll be merciful to you. So congratulations. And I similarly want to recognize your parents, as President Warden has done, your siblings, your parents, your partners, and the friends who are here with you today, because they too have to take credit for the love and support that they provided you as you made your way through college and graduate school. I'm always struck by the feeling of pride that I see in the faces of parents and other loved ones in the accomplishments of students. And I too share that pride. I have taught law for over 30 years, and so I have watched students, generations of students graduate. I have witnessed how anxious incoming students grow their academic abilities, their analytical abilities, the ability to express themselves in reasoned and concise manners while retaining their passion. And I do not have children, so in many ways, I suppose, I think of the many students that I've educated who are adults, but I feel like they are my children. And it's only when you stand back over the period of time and watch the development of students and graduates that you truly become aware of the extraordinary transformation that takes place in the university. Your parents, your relatives, your close friends, I am sure, have witnessed you develop in the same way that I continually notice in students. And I also want to applaud the faculty of this great academic institution. You graduates have been educated, as has been alluded to, by a talented, committed, and creative group of teachers. And I have no doubt that they've equipped you with the education and skills necessary to carry out the admirable goals of Franklin University as incorporated in your mission statement, which President Warden just read out earlier. From your website, I've captured somewhat of a snapshot of the class of 2022. And this applies as well to the class of 2020 who are also here today. Congratulations. You speak many languages. You come from a range of countries around the world. You are racially, ethnically, and culturally diverse. You have been immersed in the history, politics, religion, arts, and economics of societies across the world. These are the words that I will use to describe you. Intrepid, cosmopolitan internationalists, humanists, futurists, problem solvers, and you are going to make a difference in the world, as you've heard and as you know. Now that you are at this point in your life, you should take a few moments and consider what the next few decades will bring. You can't predict, of course, but you can dream. Your goals to this point have been relatively short-term, and it is useful on occasion to take a step back and look at the long term. For it is in the long-term view that establishes a successful path through life, and it helps you smooth over the short-term bumps and the pitfalls that often seem so overwhelming, but generally are exaggerated in the great scheme of things. You have made many good decisions in your life that have brought you to this day. You chose to go to college, and some of you to graduate school, and you should be pleased with those choices. So what I want to do in the next few minutes is to provide you with some advice. You've received lots of advice from those who are on the podium before me, but that is the task of those of us who are helping you, shepherding you to the next phase of your career. And I hope that you will find the advice that I'll give you useful and hopefully prepare you for the personal and professional opportunities and challenges that await you over the next few decades. Now, there's an abundance of research on what makes human beings successful. And successful I'm using very broadly, whether it's financially successful, emotionally successful, successful in a range of things. Much of the research focuses on professional contexts. What makes a good lawyer, what makes a good scientist, what makes a good teacher, etc. But there are a few characteristics that recur no matter the context. And I'm going to summarize them here to reiterate to you what your education here at Franklin University has equipped you with. You have been taught, for example, self-awareness, active listening, collaboration, curiosity, empathy, and even courage. And much of the research shows that those are key characteristics for a successful and a fulfilled human life. So what I'm going to do is, these skills are embodied in a few individuals, public individuals, that I admire tremendously. And I want to talk about the characteristics of these individuals as guideposts for you over the course of your life. And these individuals that I mention are also mirrored in private individuals that you come across in your life, whether it's your teacher, your professor, the gardener, the lawyer, the doctor, your uncle, a cousin. A great many people have these qualities. But these few people that I want to mention, because they're known globally, I just want to share with you the qualities that I'd like to share with you as you think about your chosen path in life. Of course, the people, somebody born in South Africa, Nelson Mandela looms large in my life and the life of many. Dr. Martin Luther King, an American, a great American. Dr. Wangari Maathai, she's the first Kenyan woman, the first African woman to be awarded the Nobel Prize for her environmental activism. The Pakistani education activist, Malala Yousafzai, and of course Greta Thunberg, the young environmentalist. And all of them practice what I've come across in the research that I do. I research issues of racial justice and gender equality and social justice. And one of the most exciting things that I discovered was, very early on, was an African-American feminist called Bell Hooks, who practices what she called the philosophy of radical love. And I know it sounds froofy and, touchy-feely, but radical love really is a way of approaching difference and the kind of conflicts that we face daily in our lives. So what I'd like to do is just incorporate 6 characteristics that I think these individuals that I've mentioned, and I know individuals that you know, public or private ones, they have these characteristics, these skills, and have carried them in their lives. And what I've done is I got the idea from Sesame Street. Sesame Street is a wonderful educational program in the United States. I'm sure many of you have been, when you were young, watched Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street because of the iconic characters, Cookie Monster, Elmo, Big Bird, all of them. But one of the things that Sesame Street does, I think it's a very great teaching technique, is each workshop every day, they use a letter to illustrate a word so that young people who are learning to talk learn these words through letters. So today, for me, I'm going to give you the letter R, and I'm going to focus on 6 qualities that I think, as I said, for you to carry with you as you go forward. And the 6 qualities are respect, responsibility, resilience, reputation, rejoice, and resistance. So let me quickly explain. Respect. I know it sounds old-fashioned, but respect is ultimately what I think is one of the most important of our characteristics. Respect for yourself first, but respect for your colleagues and your peers and your friends. And what is the substance of respect? I think one of the profound parts of respect is to disagree vigorously. To disagree so that you disagree with an individual, but you do not demonize that individual. It's very, very hard. We live in a world, certainly I live in the United States, and disagreement has become incredibly challenging. Respect also means allowing yourself to be open to emotional spaces that are uncomfortable. Everybody talks about safe spaces. Safe spaces are good, but uncomfortable spaces allow you to grow. If you only go to safe spaces and only talk to people you agree with, you don't grow. You certainly, it precludes you from becoming a bigger person. Responsibility, the second R. Take responsibility for the choices you make and do what you need to succeed. And create a life plan that works for you. Again, like respect, use challenging moments to learn and not the opportunity to blame. Resilience, you've heard resilience all the time, and it's a skill that is so important, because life is going to throw you curveballs that you haven't even imagined. And it's the skill of resilience that ensures that people prevail and that the challenges do not shape them. Reputation sounds old-fashioned. It's brand, your brand. It's the only thing you have. So aim for rigor in your approach to life and your engagement with others. Do not allow others to shape your brand or to shape your life experience. And particularly when you're beset on social media with rumor, make sure that when somebody is in the process, when somebody's reputation is in the process of being destroyed, that you have, if you are part of the group destroying that reputation, you do so on the basis of fact and not rumor. As a lawyer, for me, fact is what makes the legal system succeed when it does, even with all its flaws. And then rejoice. What I mean by that is surround yourselves with individuals who are positive, and those who will inspire you and bring the best out of you. Negative emotion takes the same amount of energy as positive emotion. And positive emotion is ultimately more productive. And I'm not saying to be a Pollyanna, because we have to succumb to negative emotions. But we have to see the possibilities to the issues that cause the negative emotions. And then finally, resistance. We have much work to do, as you've heard, especially regarding racial equality, sex and gender equality, the environment, social and economic justice. We live in a world that is so unequal, and not just between countries, but within them as well. So resist the effort, which I know you will, just to go along with the status quo. You have acquired many skills, as we've mentioned, the skills of curiosity, problem solving, empathy, and a range of others to improve the world for yourself and for others. So use those skills well. I want to conclude by reading a few lines from the poem Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. And she read this poem at the first inauguration of President Barack Obama. I can't read it with the pizzazz and the sassiness that she does, but I'll give it a shot. Just a few lines. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room, just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Good luck to the class of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to have live music in our lives again, isn't it? And thank you to the honorary degree recipients. Wonderful words, and I hope that we will get some of those texts and post them on our website. I want posterity to see what we've heard today. So we will now begin with the conferring of the master's degrees. Will the candidates please stand?
Mr. President, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Masters of Arts or Masters of Science as applicable. On behalf of the faculty, I certify that these persons have completed the required course of study for the master's degree at Franklin University, Switzerland, or will do so by the end of the summer 2022 semester, and they are presented to you for conferring of these degrees at the appropriate time.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degrees to which you are entitled with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
The following candidates will receive the degree of Master of Arts in Political Economy of Money and Development. From Phoenix, Arizona, USA, John Chichester. From Erbil, Kurdistan, Iraq, Shanaran Surti. the following candidates will receive the degree of Master of Science in International Management. From Darien, Connecticut, USA, Kristen Aberly. From Amman, Jordan, Amayu Warden. From Memphis, Tennessee, USA, Carbon Brodnax. From Rome, Italy, Giovanni Desiderio. From Orlando, Florida, USA, Rachel Maria Dottino. From Branchville, Virginia, USA, Ann Jackson Edwards. From Reading, Pennsylvania, USA, Manuchka Polimon. From Paris, France, Henri Suivi. From Natal, Brazil, Karina Souza. We will now turn to the conferring of bachelor degrees. Will the candidates please stand? Mr. President, I have the pleasure of presenting to you candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science as applicable. On behalf of the faculty, I certify that these persons have completed the required course of study at Franklin University, Switzerland, or will do so by the end of summer 2022. And they are presented to you for conferring of these degrees at the appropriate time.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree to which you are entitled with all the rights and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
The following candidates will receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science. From Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with a major in international management with an emphasis in finance, Fadel Abdallah. From Austin, Texas, USA, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing and graduating cum laude, Ana Lucia Alegre. From Ashgabat, Turkmenistan, with a major in international management, Raman Baev. From Manchester by the Sea, Massachusetts, USA, with a major in psychology and graduating cum laude, Natasha Braze. From Lugano, Switzerland, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing, graduating magna cum laude, Gloria Bruschi. From Granby, Connecticut, USA, with a major in social justice and sustainability, Jonathan Bykowski. From Lugano, Switzerland, with a major in international management and graduating summa cum laude, Giulia Castiglione. From Paris, France, with a combined major in communication and media studies and political science, Karen Korla. From Kelsetzenango, from Marshfield, Massachusetts, USA, with a major in international relations, Morgan Crothy. From Quetzaltenango, Guatemala, with majors in communication and media studies and political science, and graduating magna cum laude, Natalia de Leon Tello. From Lugano, Switzerland, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing, Giulia Gatti. From Dubai, United Arab Emirates, with a major in visual communication arts and graduating cum laude, Cristina Gisto. From Toronto, Canada, with majors in history and international relations and graduating magna cum laude, Milica Jovic. From Solana Beach, California, USA, with a major in environmental studies with an emphasis in science, and graduating summa cum laude, Grace Elizabeth Cotney. From Salo, Italy, with a major in fashion studies, Josephine Leonello. From Houston, Texas, USA, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing, Shaila Lopez. From St. Petersburg, Florida, USA, with a major in international economics with an emphasis in political economy and graduating magna cum laude, Daniele Lopez Sisitete. From Honolulu, Hawaii, USA, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing and graduating cum laude, Jade Lum. From Miami, Florida, USA, with majors in communication and media studies and environmental studies, and graduating magna cum laude, Alejandra Malavenda. From Samarate, Italy, with a major in fashion studies and graduating magna cum laude, Francesca Mazzucchelli. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing and graduating magna cum laude, Liz Menezes Pereira dos Santos. From Moscow, Russia, with a major in history, Nikolai Morozov. From Temecula, California, USA, with a major in political science, Aurora Nelson. From Oslo, Norway, and Zurich, Switzerland, with a major in psychology, Clara Nerseth. From Prague, Czech Republic, with a major in political science, Alex Nunez Sindelar. From Atlanta, Georgia, USA, with a major in international relations, Campbell Pear. From Orange County, California, USA, with a major in communication and media studies, Blake Pasternak. From Milan, Italy, with a major in psychology, Sofia Pesci. From Mendocino, California, USA, with majors in environmental studies with an emphasis in science and psychology, Marie Ramnoso. From Newport Beach, California, USA, with a major in communication and media studies, Hollis Robinson. From Milan, Italy, with a major in psychology, Asia Martina Rovedo. From Benghazi, Libya, with a major in international management with an emphasis in marketing, Amir Sakran. From East Grinstead, United Kingdom, with a major in history, Kai Francis Sales. From Irbid, Jordan, with a major in international management with an emphasis in finance, Saleh Shokarat. From Treviso, Italy, with a major in communication and media studies and graduating magna cum laude, Letizia Stefan. From Fort Worth, Texas, USA, with a major in political science, Rachel Stevens. from Damascus, Syria, with a major in international relations, Laila Taba. From Key Biscayne, Florida, USA, with majors in environmental studies with an emphasis in science and psychology, and graduating magna cum laude, Gabriela Tirlik Avilla. From Austin, Texas, USA, with a major in international relations with an emphasis in political economy, Peyton Warmack Chipman. From Kingston, Jamaica, with a major in visual communication arts, Leo Williams. And our first Bachelor of Science ever, and certainly not the last one, from Seattle, Washington, USA, with a major in environmental science, Catherine Zinda.
Thank you, Dean Starcher, for reminding me the important ceremonial moment now. I've got to get my teaching aid here. This is the point where now, as graduates of Franklin, you take your tassel from the right and move it to the left. Professor Patrick de la Croce will now introduce the valedictorian.
Thank you, but this is really about her now. President Warden, members of the Board of Trustees, Vice President Starcher, esteemed family members and friends, graduating students, it is my great honor to introduce the valedictorian speaker of the 2022 class, Gabriela Tirlik Aviles. Gabby, if I say your family name incorrectly, you can blame Anna for it. In The Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." I cannot but be very impressed with what Gabby has decided to do with her time here at Franklin. Over the past 4 years, Gabby has been a wonderful example of the kind of student we all like to have in our classes, in our courses. Smart, interested, engaged, willing to learn, willing to improve herself, and always ready to participate in and contribute to class discussions. That doesn't mean chatting all the time. This is demonstrated by the fact that Gabby has been a constant present on the Dean's List, and her GPA is among the very best of her class. She's graduating today magna cum laude with a double major in psychology and environmental studies with an emphasis in science, and on top of that has also completed all the pre-health courses we have offered thus far, including, and I speak for experience here, the not-so-easy 2-semester sequence of organic chemistry. On top of her academic work, Gabby is leaving a permanent mark at Franklin by being one of the 3 founders of the FUS Green Office. It had to come, right? The Green Office is a student-led initiative that will help the university become more sustainable in all its operations. Over the past year, Gabby, Grace Kotnik, and Alejandra Malavenda, also graduating today, have gone well above and beyond what is expected from any students to ensure that the Green Office could go from a project report of the senior capstone course of spring 2021 to an existing reality for Franklin. Their effort and hard work paid off last week with the signing of the official mandate of the university for the Green Office. Thank you for this. It's a great legacy that you guys are living here. That said, to me, as one of Gabby's professors, what makes her outstanding and what makes her fully deserve to be the valedictorian speaker for today is the fact that Gabby did all of the above and much more, always with a smile on her face. From our very first course together, Gabby has always brought a positive and constructive energy to class, even when the class assignments were challenging or slightly vague, happened every now and then, or when the lecture dealt with the various shapes and position of fish mouth and was held around 10 p.m. on academic travel. In that case, she did snort a little bit, but it's understandable, and I hear the professor, who we won't name here today, has already apologized multiple times. Gabby, a little more than 3 years ago, on a sunny afternoon outside the science lab, I stopped you after class and I suggested that you consider graduating in environmental sciences along with psychology. I still remember that conversation. I am honored that you followed my advice, or that you were too nice to say no. For that, I have to thank your parents, I guess. I have greatly enjoyed having you regularly as my student these past 4 years, and I am sure that if you keep your positive and constructive attitude, you will continue to accomplish great things wherever you go after Franklin. Ladies and gentlemen, graduating students, without further ado, please join me in welcoming on stage the valedictorian speaker for the class 2022, Gabriela Tierling Aviles.
Thank you, Professor Della Croce, for your kind words. It's been an honor to be your student over the past 4 years. Distinguished guests, faculty, staff, student, alumni, and family, thank you all for being here today. And to my fellow graduates of the class of 2022, congratulations. The day we've been waiting for has finally come. I'll admit, when I first sat down to write this speech, I had absolutely no idea what to say. How could I summarize 4 short years at Franklin in one short speech? But if there's one thing my wonderful advisor, Professor Della Croce, drilled into my head during my environmental science capstone, is that whatever you say in a presentation or a speech, it must tell a story. And so I hope this speech properly represents the story of the class of 2022. Our class is an unconventional one, but I guess you could say that about any graduating class at Franklin. But I think it is especially true for ours. We're unique in that we're the only class who experienced Franklin before COVID, at the height of it, and also now as we've adjusted to this post-lockdown world. Our time at Franklin has been unlike any other. And although living through COVID has not been easy, we can at least make light of certain things in retrospect. We can laugh about how we all scrambled to pack our things and flee the country overnight after getting worried calls from our parents. And we can appreciate the support we gave each other during the harsher transition periods as we had to learn to live at Franklin, even though we were so limited in what we could do. But that's the beauty of the Franklin community, the ability we have to lean on and support each other. I am so grateful that we are able to have this commencement ceremony in person after the past 2 years of virtual events, and it is even more special to share this with the class of 2020 and all the other alumni and friends who are here today. My class was really lucky to have this past year of normalcy and finish off our time at Franklin with all the things that make it what it is at its best. I'm so grateful to have gone on academic travel to Egypt and snorkeled in the Red Sea, to have experienced one more Latin night with some of the first friends I ever made at Franklin, to run around the North Campus field and throw colors on each other, to have had one last yacht party, to have participated in one more orientation week. I don't think any of us really knew what we were getting ourselves into when we all first arrived on campus as young, jet-lagged freshmen who couldn't tell apart one campus from the other. When I first got to my tiny split double in LDV and met all the random strangers that would soon be my neighbors, I had no idea that my roommate and so many others in that building would still be my dearest friends to this day. It's funny to think about how clueless we were back then, spending the day falling asleep in orientation sessions and then walking downtown at night to the Cactus because we didn't realize there was public transportation, even though our OMs told us about it that same morning. I still remember watching all the SMU and USC students jumping off the rock at Valle Versasca and being way too terrified to do it myself. And it wasn't until this past year when I returned to Valle Versasca as an orientation mentor that I finally jumped off that rock. And for me, that little moment perfectly represents my experience here and the way I've grown over the years. Being involved in student leadership positions truly pushes you to grow and to have an even bigger appreciation about the passion and dedication it takes to create the environment at Franklin. Somewhere along the way, we all began to understand what it means to be a part of this community, the privilege it is to call Franklin our home, the sense of unity between all of us. The experiences we've shared are ones that no one outside of Franklin will ever truly understand. There will always be a level of unspoken understanding between all of us about what our time at Franklin was like and which version of Franklin we experienced and came to love. Even though we might not have spent every waking moment with each other, we've all grown alongside each other and we all have the same shared experiences. We've all had some questionable meals at the grotto. We've all turned in papers that we definitely didn't start that same day, right at 11:59. We all have dramatic stories of nights out at the pub after we swore we wouldn't be going out that night. We've all traveled and taken 4 a.m. flights back to campus because it's cheaper and then regretted it the day after. We've all had far too much wine at a Franklin Senior Auction event and spent hundreds of dollars on something we probably could have gotten for free. We've all gone on ski trips in the Alps, some of us better at it than others. We've all followed around a professor in a foreign country for 2 weeks and learned things even when we didn't even realize we were learning. Because in reality, every single moment we've spent at Franklin, we have learned new things. And now our time here has come to an end, and the past 4 years will simply become a mosaic of memories that we will carry with us for the rest of our lives. Looking back, choosing to attend Franklin was one of the best decisions I have ever made. I arrived at Franklin only intending to stay for 1 year, but that quickly turned into 2 and then into 4. And I can say with absolute confidence that I made the right decision in staying. This university has molded us into who we are and helped us gather the tools to create the future we want, not only for ourselves, but for those around us and for the planet we live in. If there's one thing that Franklin teaches you, one takeaway to leave with as we prepare to move on to the next phases of our lives, then it would be the importance of understanding the world we live in. And not just understand it through books and lectures, but to really experience it, to leave each city and country with an ever-growing curiosity and sense of adventure. The importance of exposing yourselves to new and different perspectives and environments, to learn something from everything we do, to leave every interaction with a sharper understanding of others and the world around us. To push yourself out of your comfort zone, put yourself into someone else's shoes, and take those experiences and new understandings and incorporate them into all parts of our lives. I think I speak for all of us when I say we all have so much love for this university, and especially for the people that have made our time here as spectacular as it was. Not only the people at Franklin, but also the people who made it possible for us to attend Franklin. I'm personally so grateful to my mom who encouraged me to move to Europe, and to my siblings who are also Franklin alumni, and constantly told me about how amazing Franklin was until I just knew I had to come here. But I'm also so eternally grateful to the people I've met at Franklin. At the end of the day, the people we have shared this experience with are the ones who have made it so special. Our professors and staff, our neighbors, our friends who have graduated and the ones we will leave behind, and especially our fellow graduates. So I want to extend a thank you to all of you, all of the people that have made these past 4 years the best years of my life. Thank you for sharing this experience with all of us. And once again, congratulations to the class of 2022.
I would now like to invite Emily Boynton to welcome the graduating class to the Alumni Association.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations, class of 2022. You guys made it. Good job. I'm here today to welcome you to the Alumni Association of Franklin. After years of hard work and dedication, you've earned your Franklin University of Switzerland degree. Very exciting. My name is Emily Boynton. I'm class of 2009 Franklin graduate and a member of the Board of Trustees as an alumni trustee and president of the Alumni Council. I'm here today with my fellow alumni trustee, Ryan Ellis, who's also the class of 2009 and vice president of the Alumni Council. Right in. So on behalf of the Franklin Alumni Association, we applaud you and congratulate you for reaching this important milestone. As you now prepare to embark on the next phase of your life, know that you're not alone. In addition to your friends and family, you're now one of more than 7,000 Franklin alumni worldwide. To stay connected with your Franklin and your fellow alumni, we really welcome you to participate in all Franklin Alumni Association events and activities. As an active member, you'll be able to keep Franklin close, doing your part to continue making the university stronger. To help you start, here are some easy ways to get involved. You can be informed, read our alumni e-newsletter, keep your contact information current in the online community. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, definitely on LinkedIn, if you want some career connections. By staying informed, you'll make a wonderful ambassador for the university. Remain involved, whether it's participating in a Franklin club, attending alumni events, serving as an admission ambassador, class agent, or on the alumni council with Ryan and myself, attending our new annual Alumni Association meeting, or returning to campus. You can join the thousands of alumni who work to preserve the excellence of Franklin University, Switzerland. We welcome you, we congratulate you, and look forward to keeping in touch with each and every one of you. I hope to see you all back in Lugano in May 2025 as we celebrate the 55th anniversary of this truly special university at our Global Alumni Reunion. Congratulations.
Thank you, Emily. So the message is, stick with us. You're graduating, I'm graduating, but Franklin is going to be part of us forever. So I'd like to conclude with a couple of remarks of my own. Get my chance to say something, and it's going to echo a little bit what you've already heard this morning, some of these wonderful messages, and I'll try to be brief. You can applaud that word, brief. You now hold in your hand a degree from Franklin that tells the world that you're educated. You worked hard, but what does that degree mean? It means that we as an institution believe that you have the critical skills and the flexibility of mind and character to succeed in what our mission statement reminds us. And I'm not going to go over our mission statement again. You know what it is. Education is not an end in itself. Education must be something that allows you to continue to learn, and through the ability to continue learning, you should be able to succeed at whatever you decide to do. It goes far beyond the mastery of any particular subject. It's far more than mere learning. B.F. Skinner, the famous and sometimes controversial behaviorist, once wrote, "Education is what remains when what you have learned is forgotten." To be educated means that you understand that there is still a great deal more to learn, that one of the joys of life is that we will go on learning to the end of our days. Education is broad, it's inclusive, it's open. With education comes responsibility. Education must include awareness that goes beyond the individual. It must include the understanding that along with privilege comes great responsibility. It must acknowledge that your education is not just for you, that it can be something greater that should be of service to all. I believe that we have prepared you well. You've joined the ranks of an educated elite. I hope you will become the responsible, compassionate, collaborative leader that we talk about in our mission. I have faith that you will accept this challenge and that through it you will prosper. It's been my honor and pleasure to serve as president of Franklin University, Switzerland for the past 10 years. I too, in a way, will graduate with you today. We share this bond, and I will always feel part of the class of 2022. It's time for all of us to move on, to remember our years together at Franklin as we commence another chapter in our lives, as we commence what I like to think of a new adventure. Will you, the 2022 graduating class, please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, I present to you the Franklin University, Switzerland's graduating class of 2022. Join me in congratulating them.